Right now on News 4 at 5, a rare polio-like illness may have made its way to Buffalo. Hear from a doctor on what steps parents can take to protect their child from contracting this virus.
Now that the rain chances have wound down, we're tracking cooler temperatures. Thing is, that could trigger a little bit of lake effect drizzle starting later tomorrow. We'll have the latest coming up.
Plus, a child is found alone, drowning in Lake Ontario. Find out what charges her father is now facing. News 4 at 5 starts right now.
Live in high definition, this is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at 5.
I want to thank the citizens who saw her. Thank God they saw her.
A 4-year-old girl with autism is alive tonight thanks to 2 women and a quick-acting sheriff's deputy. Good evening, everyone. That little girl had to be rescued from the waters of Lake Ontario this morning.
And now her father is charged with child endangerment. Joshua Winkoski of Olcott was arrested less than an hour after his daughter was rescued. Sheriff Jim Vautour says 2 women saw this girl on the shoreline when they were walking their dogs, and they called 911. A deputy later found the girl about 50 yards offshore. Waves were pushing her farther back, and her head went under the water several times.
And when he saw her go under again and saw the fear in her eyes, he dropped his equipment, his gun belt, his vest, and so forth, and dove into the lake and grabbed the young girl. So he was able to swim to shore to a point where he could eventually touch the bottom and then walk the girl in. And he handed the girl off to another deputy.
Sheriff Vautour says the girl was in that water for about 10 minutes. She swallowed some water, but she is expected to be okay. The sheriff says she got out of the house while her father was asleep. Winkoski will be back in court on November 6th.
He was playing and running around, and then the next morning it changed, or Tuesday morning it completely changed her whole life around.
Doctors in Buffalo are continuing to treat a suspected case of a rare polio-like illness. News 4 first reported a suspected case of AFM at Oishei Children's Hospital last night.
Now, this case is not yet confirmed, but the patient's mother tells News 4's Jen Shantz the child is still under treatment. Jen?
3-year-old Cameron Switek received plasma treatments today at Oishei Children's Hospital, according to his mother, Crystal. The toddler was first admitted to the hospital late last month, and he returned this week when he didn't respond to steroid treatments for what his mother says was originally diagnosed as viral meningitis. Now, doctors believe this could be AFM, or acute flaccid myelitis. It's a virus that affects the nervous system and can cause weakness in the limbs, slurred speech, or droopy eyelids. It's rare, but the CDC has seen a jump in the number of cases reported since 2014. It's unclear why. Often the first step in diagnosing is doing an MRI or a spinal tap to locate the virus via spinal fluid. Dr. Joseph Cronin is a physician at Western New York Immediate Care. Now, he's not familiar with this suspected case, but says generally speaking, there's still a lot we don't know about AFM. There aren't specific treatments for it. It can be caused by a variety of viruses, including West Nile.
Is this contagious?
Well, as I mentioned, West Nile virus is contagious through insect bites. So preventing insect bites can actually help prevent that type of disease. Does West Nile virus cause this disease in everyone? It does not. More needs to be looked into as to why certain people respond to infections in this manner.
Now, AFM is not transmitted person to person, so a person diagnosed with the disease cannot infect someone else just by being near them. Dr. Cronin says the best way to protect yourself against this disease is by getting your shots and washing your hands. Now, once a patient suffers the symptoms of AFM, like loss of limb function, it's hard to tell if they'll fully recover or not. Right now, doctors at Oishei are working closely with the CDC and the State Health Department to continue to treat Cameron and confirm whether or not he has this illness. His mother talks more about his condition tonight at 6. For now, Jen Shantz, News 4 at 5.
Buffalo police say a 19-year-old man was killed after being shot. This shooting happened around 7 o'clock last night at Moselle and East Delavan off Bailey. So far, no arrests have been made, but you are asked to call Buffalo police at 847-2255. That's the confidential tip line if you have any information.
I'd just like to tell Mr. Sheridan acknowledging.
An Amherst man offered an apology to a man that he hit with his car earlier this year. Mark Hicks of Amherst was sentenced to a year in jail today.
He hit a man in a wheelchair, then drove off. Kevin Sheridan was in his motorized wheelchair when he was struck on Vulcan Street in the town of Tonawanda back in February. Sheridan was seriously hurt in this crash, and his wheelchair was destroyed. Hicks said that crash was an accident. The judge agreed, but said that's not what got Hicks in trouble.
You said that this was an accident. I agree. When you hit Mr. Sheridan, it was an accident. It was dark, it was cold, it was February. But what you did and didn't do afterward is what bothers me, and which is what makes this a crime.
Hicks pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of an accident in August. He could have gotten as many as 4 years in prison.
A former post office employee has been sentenced in what prosecutors call a mail theft scheme. 29-year-old Jeffrey Watkins Jr. from Buffalo will serve 6 months in jail. Watkins and 2 other people pleaded guilty in July to cashing checks that were stolen from mailboxes around Cheektowaga. Investigators believe more than $26,000 was stolen during the scheme. Watkins has also been ordered to pay more than $31,000 in restitution.
And as we turn to the weather now, we have new drone video. It shows the widespread devastation and destruction left behind by Hurricane Michael. The video shows miles of debris and flattened homes in Mexico Beach, Florida. The storm slammed the Florida Panhandle yesterday, just as everyone called, as a Category 4 hurricane. At least 5 people have died so far as a result of that storm. And FEMA administrators now say it could take months, even years, for some of the hardest hit areas to recover.
Our chief meteorologist, Todd Santos, has the latest on all this and details on cooler weather for us. Todd?
Yeah.